What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a live show, the last live show of 23. Yeah, so it's gonna be the live show of 23. Tomorrow, that's Thursday, the 28th. I'm live on the All Juve cast. So if you wanna check that one out, I will be live on their channel for our kind of monthly show, and then it's live show for this year. But we do play Roma on Saturday, so there's still a last game of the year, and it's a big game. It's a must win game against a good opponent. Not the best in the league, but it's still Roma that we play on Saturday, and excuse me, a lot of question marks for that game. I made that dilemma video. That dilemma video didn't even include the potential injuries ahead of that Roma game, which we were going to discuss as well, and also a bit of transfer news. And we will start with the transfer news because that's a bit breaking. So apparently, we are signing Atzik, and I think a good 3 weeks ago, I was also live, or I did a show where we talked about the player joining Bologna, and a lot of people in the chat were saying, how can you lose a player to Bologna? And the debate was, or like the point I made was like, it's a non-EU, yeah, spot, which is big. It's big, because the player is staying on loan until June at his club, and according to Mirko Di Natale, he will come back in the summer. He will join the club officially in the summer, or like play for the club, but it will be a Yildiz type of signing. So that means he goes to the next gen, and when he gets his opportunity, he will get into the first team. So for the club to use their non-EU spot, excuse me, um, on a 17-year-old with a lot of upside probably, but you're not never certain if it's going to work out and all those things. It's big time. It is big time, and I think that was kind of what the club was holding back a few days ago, or like weeks ago, whatever you want to call it. But they pulled the trigger now. They're going to pay close to 5.5 million euros for him. According to Nico Shira, there's a 20% future on percent on the sale. You might say that's a lot. Depends, if he's really that guy and he goes, let's say, for 50 million, you need to pay 10 million to the player, to the club, plus the 5 you already paid now. So that's like 50 million. It's still a good deal if he gives you enough output. Obviously, like, I don't know much of the player. I think he scored like 7 goals in the league as an attacking midfielder. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, now we're definitely not going to sign an attacking midfielder." This player has no impact on January and probably not next season. From what we have gathered now, he's not going to be a first teamer. So yes, we still need to sign first team players. So it's one of those deals on the side, in my opinion. A bit maybe like Facundo Gonzalez, who went on loan to Sampdoria. Kind of out of the blue. Maybe like fun to look at, or to keep an eye on when playing for the next gen, or when he goes alone potentially. Who knows? But other than that, we still need help in the first team, and that help apparently is Hoiberg, as everybody has been reading the last couple of hours or days, and the Hoiberg thing is a bit weird as well, because I watched a podcast I usually listen to about the Premier League and stuff like that, and Europe in general, and they were talking about Hoiberg because Tottenham, they're having a good season, but Madison is injured. Bissouma is going to the Africa Cup of Nations. Son is going to the Asian Cup. Is it called the Asian Cup? They have some injuries, like I said. Players are leaving, and what about Hoiberg then? Because yes, Tottenham were trying to move him on, but can they move him on in January? Because they're losing players by injury and by default, because of commitments with their country. Um, I don't see Tottenham letting Højbjerg go that freely. And also, if you want to call in, you can do that. You can click the link. It's free. You don't need to put on your camera. It's just your voice. I can see when you pop on. So no worries, no camera, just the voice. So if you want to do that, click the link. It's very easy. You can switch off your camera, switch on your mic, and I can bring you in on the live stream, and you can have your say. However, the Højbjerg thing is a strange one, is a weird one, because at the end of the day, I don't get it, and maybe somebody can explain it to me. Just let me know then in the comments or in the chat if you have a valid reason or like a logical reason as of why we're trying to side Højbjerg, because Tottenham, if they're selling, they want an obligation to buy on the loan deal, which is going to be around 25 million. Let's split the difference between 20 and 30. Let's say 25. So you're kind of stuck with that decision. So if you bring in Højbjerg, I don't get it. Like, I don't think Allegri is going to switch formation. I don't think Allegri is going to do that mid-season when things are going well. And with well, I say we're picking up the points. The goal of the club is top 4, so we are on a pace to get top 4. So that's the goal for the club. That's the goal for Allegri. He's doing it. He's picking up the points. I don't see him switching up formation mid-season. He switched up formation, or like not formation. He switched approach after we lost against Sassuolo, and he said we're gonna do it my way now, and it's his way, and it's working. So I don't see him switching it up mid-season. So the Højbjerg signing, I don't get. It's not a player we're missing in the midfield. Like if we were competing on all fronts, we were in Europe, we were in a title race, Coppa Italia, whatever, and you're like, okay, we need cover, then I can see it. Like I can see, okay, it makes more sense. We're not in that situation. The argument of we are trying to bring in cover for Locatelli, I don't get. I cannot get behind of, because you can bench Locatelli. You don't need to play Locatelli every single week, That's by choice. Allegri is playing Locatelli every single week. He can play Nicolosi at home against Salernitana and, I don't know, Cagliari, name those teams. Like, if you really want to give Locatelli a rest, I had a discussion today. Why is this not picking up? Okay. I had a discussion today. Somebody said, oh, you want quality players. And I do want quality players, because I said you can play Nicolosi instead of Locatelli if you want to give him a rest. And somebody said you want quality players, or you cry about quality players, and then you want to play Nicolosi, who's garbage. I don't think Nicolosi is garbage, and he's certainly not worse than players Salernitana have, Cagliari have, and the list goes on and on. This league is not good. Nicolosi at home will do a job. He will not completely fall away. And again, I'm saying against these teams, not Napoli at home. I get that at this point. But against those garbage teams, because we play a lot of poor sides in this league. When we drop points against Genoa, people are saying, oh, they're a great team. They're not. Give them respect. I'm not going to sit here and clap off Genoa. They're not a good team. They're just not. So if you play them at home, Nicolosi can do a job. So I don't want the club to bring in Højbjerg to play, or to bench Locatelli for 4 games until the end of the season. Like, that's, at that point, are we paying 25 million for him next summer? Is that making sense? Also, keep in mind, you still have Barrenechea, who's developing well. Isn't it even, yes, and isn't it even smarter to just save that money and bring Barnechea back into the team next summer and as a rotation player because yes, experience, and people say experience. Rabiot is 29. He's an experienced player in that midfield. Locatelli won in Euros, like he's 25, whatever. Like that's experience enough. They're not kids anymore. Like McKennie, they're not kids. Like they're not Miretti or Yildiz. Like they're not kids. They play professional football at a high level for many years. Rabiot at PSG, McKennie at Schalke, Leeds, us, Locatelli at Sassuolo, Euros. Like they're experienced players. I don't get it. What people want with more experience, fine, but what about quality? Like, what about real, actual quality in the squad? And in the midfield, we're missing a player who can carry the ball consistently, not like Rabiot. He does that whenever he cares to do so, and then also a guy who, when he carries the ball or when he not carries the ball, can play that through pass, can make that final pass, can get into the box, can shoot, can pick out a guy, all these things, this midfield absolutely lacks. So if you bring a Rabiot, Højbjerg into the team in January, I don't see it. Like I don't see how we get better. Don't see how we get worse, obviously, but I don't see how we massively improve. I just don't see it. It's just more of the same. And from what I've seen from Højbjerg the last 2 years, let's call it 2 years, it's been poor. Like it's been really, really, really bad. He's been benched by Betancourt, and a lot of people didn't like Betancourt at the club. It comes full circle. I know we sell Betancourt and Kulusevski to kind of fund the Vlahovic signing some way. However, it comes full circle. Then you move on Betancourt because yes, you wanted to fund Vlahovic, but let's not kid ourselves. He was playing badly, and the club was just done with him. And they were trying to move him on because if Betancourt was playing lights out football, they wouldn't have sacrificed him to bring in Vlahovic. So at the end of the day, you're bringing in the player that got benched by a player you didn't really rate anymore. It's funny how things potentially turn out. I'm not saying it's a done deal because, like I said, the situation at Tottenham is a bit strange. With injuries, with the Africa Cup of Nations, I don't think it's a given that Tottenham are gonna be like, okay, leave. You can leave now. You can leave mid-season. I'm not so sure about that. However, that's kind of the only link that's been out there. That's the only link that we can actually discuss as well, and you already have many fans making up excuses. Oh, but we want him and an attacking midfielder. When have we been linked with an attacking midfielder from a good source? Don't say Samardzic because that's paper talk. A really good source saying we want to bring in Samardzic or whatever. And this kid we're bringing in, it's not for January. It's not even for next season. So that you can also not put out there. This is just about cover, physicality, experience, but not really looking at what are we missing. I kind of feel sad for, again, the players up top. I really, really do, because it's not fun to play. I play Sunday League football, and we started up a team, and 3-4 years ago, I played up front. It was terrible. It was terrible to play up front because nothing was we had a terrible team, by the way. Now, fast forward a couple of years, we have a good team. Those balls arrive consistently every Sunday. And excuse me. And it's different because you play with more, how do you want to say that? You play with more joy. It's more fun. It's not frustrating. It's not hardworking compared to a couple of years where you just need to get that ball yourself in midfield. They just come because you have better players in and around you, and it's more fun to play because if you miss a chance, whatever, a couple of minutes, another will follow up. And when you bring in Hoiberg, I don't I don't see how that's gonna improve anything moving forward, because we're still like, we are a solid team defensively and all those things. We are conceding a goal every game now, the last couple of weeks. However, it's solid. It's not that we're giving up chance after chance. Like, it's not that case. My thing is, it's not that we create chance after chance, like clear chances, not crosses and all those things. And I don't see how Hoiberg is gonna improve that. Again, the only way is January. I'm just saying, February the 1st. Let's say you bring in Hoiberg, and February the 1st game after the transfer window closes, and Allegri's like, here we go. Back four, Hoiberg into the team, Chiesa, Vlahovic up top, Yildiz in behind. Then I'm like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to switch it up, fine. But if you bring in Hoiberg and it remains, Pogba's a baller. Wait, and it remains a 3-5-2. I just don't see it. You bench Locatelli again for Hoiberg. I don't see the difference. I like, maybe somebody knows. Like, somebody can explain what the difference is to me. I just don't see it. And at that point, I'm very confused. I'm extremely confused with the news, because you could have got Phillips then on loan with no obligation to buy, if that's really something. I from what I've seen from Hoiberg the last 2 years, it's just not good, man. It's really poor at times, and I just don't have, I don't get it. I don't get the link. That's that. Last 5 minutes of the last live in 23. By the way, if somebody missed that, I'm not going to do another live show this year. Tomorrow I will be live on the All Juve cast, so stay tuned for that. If you want to call in, still 5 minutes, you can do. Link is in the description, or you scan the QR code. Saturday, Roma, Vlahovic didn't train because he still had an issue with a knock he picked up on Saturday against Frosinone. He's expected to be back in training tomorrow. I do expect him to start on Sunday. I don't think he's going to start Milik in the game against Roma. The big question mark still is Chiesa, because he is back in training. However, the news is that he's not 100% fit still, or like it's 100% given that he can start that game. So it's going to be interesting to see. Also, like, towards Yildiz, I don't know. It's fair to tell Yildiz now, you're going to sit on the bench again, and you're going to get a few minutes. You're going to get a few minutes here and there. So a lot of big decisions to be made. Cambiasso is suspended. So what are you going to do in midfield? I think he's just going to keep McKennie in midfield and play Wea. I think that's a more logical thing to do at this moment in time. Kostic, like, surely you cannot start Kostic. However, if you're gonna start Wea, if he's gonna start Wea, he's gonna start Kostic on the left hand side. Yeah, like, he wants that balance. He's not gonna throw that out of the window completely, because he never did that when there was some sort of balance. Why would he do that when things have already changed up? If you're gonna play Wea, Martial will be good if cheap enough. No, he's injury prone, man. Like, he's injury prone. I think Gatti has more goals than him in the last year or so, to be honest, as well. No, I always liked Martial, but I think it's done. I don't think that's a player we should be looking at all. But a lot of question marks for the Roma game, or like, I have question marks. Not sure if Allegri has those question marks, but it's the final game of the season. You absolutely need to win 100%. Roma are a tough team to play, but they shouldn't be a problem for us at home. You should be winning that game easily. Like last season, we didn't, and I'm still frustrated to this day that we didn't beat them, because you should be beating them. And yeah, man, you need to end the season on a good note. Not knowing what will happen in January with transfers. Like, the junior thing kind of disappeared, but I still think he's going. You need to win on Saturday, excuse me. He hasn't been injured in about 14 months. Nothing serious anyway, but he doesn't get picked. He had some niggles here and there. No, I'm not saying ACL things or whatever, but like, come on, like I don't consider him a player for the last 3 years or so. Not not only his fault, obviously, because of things that have happened at the club. Uh, but no, man, we should not be looking at Martial like any of those players. Like, just it's done. How old is he? 27, maybe. How many? Like, how much money is he on as well? That's also something. Um, that sick transfer is apparently a done deal. So that's that. 27. Okay. Roma's annoying. Samardzic now. Samardzic is going Napoli. We've never really been linked with him, have we? You know, and things can still change. It can happen out of nowhere. But the only news on Samardzic is we have been looking at him, and so many clubs have been looking at him. It's not really news, is it? Like, unless the news is we have held talks with him, it's not really news, is it? So don't don't keep your hopes up for that one. I think no. I don't think we're gonna sign that type of player. Allegri is 100% running the transfer show. Yeah, if we're linked to players like Højbjerg, he's 100%, and it's a bit worrying because I thought when Juntli came in, things will be a bit different, but apparently it's not. I'll take Martial contract is up at the end of the season, and he will have to take a pay cut wherever he goes. No, man, like no, I wouldn't take him. You know, I would just look at what we have and look at players we can develop. You know, with a fresh start. These are the players we should stay away from. I wish we could sign a good right back like Bui from Galatasaray. I've not seen enough from him. And to be honest, we've not seen enough from Wea. I don't think he's a right back, by the way, but still, like, we haven't. Who Phillips? Yeah, I want Phillips. I've said it. Like, I like the player. I like him at Leeds. You know, but if you want to avoid spending money in January, then Phillips is a good thing because he's a loan, and probably City are not gonna push for an obligation to buy. I'd rather do that than sign Højbjerg with an obligation to buy. That's all I said on Phillips. But if you tell me, do you want Phillips in the team permanently? I'm gonna say no. Like, I don't want Phillips in this team permanently. Like, I've never said that. I don't want him. So I do agree with that one. Also, his injury he had last season is a bit worrying as well, in my opinion. So if only we have Fajoli and Pogba, so we could sign fullbacks and a right back. Yeah, man. If Fajoli and Pogba were here, we would have been signing absolutely nobody in January. There would be no links, and I would agree with that as well. You know, because like right back, left back, you do that business in the summer. You know, because you also need to move out a couple of players. But if Pogba didn't do what he did, and Fajoli didn't do what he had to do, what he did, excuse me, the team would be. That's actually a good question. Let me know in the comments. Let's say we have Fajoli and Pogba on this team. First question, do you believe we were still playing a 3-5-2? And follow-up question, do you think we would have had more points or less points? And that goes hand in hand with the first question, like the formation-wise as well. Excuse me. I've not seen Bui play at Galatasaray. I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch Galatasaray games, so I've not seen him. We were linked with him in the summer. Actually, we were linked with the entire Galatasaray team in the summer. It was him, it was Saniolo, and it was somebody else, I forgot. And we were linked with shipping them Alexandro, McKennie, and just name it. So, but those rumors kind of died completely. After that 1 week of Galatasaray links, that completely disappeared. So that was that. Same formation, more points. Ooh. Oh my god. More points. Same formation. That's kind of sad as well, to be honest. More points. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think a game like Genoa away with a Pogba in that team, you win. You absolutely win. Even Bologna at home, you win those games with Pogba in the team. But the same formation, I'm not sure. Like that would be absolutely frustrating. Like, the formation would have changed. For an old up Pogba, also we would have more points in my opinion. But that's all ifs and whatever. So we cannot really discuss that anymore. Chance creation is goals. Yeah, like the more you create, the more goals you get, unless your front line absolutely stinks. But there's no proof that our front line absolutely stinks. You know, like if if you look at Chelsea, like that front line stinks. Like if you see the chances they miss on a weekly basis, you will cry. Like I don't know how Chelsea fans are still sane, but if you even today, like last week against Wolves, if you see the chances Chelsea create and miss, if that was at Juve, I would be like that front line, throw that away because the Chelsea players are missing sitters on a weekly basis, not one, but most of the time two, three times a game. It's ridiculous, but they do create a lot of chances. The only issue is they stink up front. Like Jackson needs 1,000 chances, and he gets 1,000 chances. Sterling, I never really rated that highly. Mudrik is hit and miss, so they also have issues, but they do create a lot of like clear cut chances, like unbelievable chances, like not crosses, like clear cut. If anyone watched that Menu game they lost, that was ridiculous. The chances they missed in that game. If I was Pochettino, I would have not played that front line for a couple of weeks because that was ridiculous. Yeah, Pogba was injured. Deep inside, I still want a miracle lawsuit win for Pogba, so his contract, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Loan Keane to them for 5. Yeah, Keane, I don't think he has a future at the club anymore. To be honest, I think he will be gone in the summer as well. But I'm gonna wrap this one up. This was the last live show of the year. I will be back. Let me see because I have no idea. I will be back the 2nd of January with the first live show. Tomorrow, daily, and it will be live on the All Juve cast around this hour, a bit earlier. So stay tuned for that as well. Friday, as usual. Yeah, I mean, like Chelsea create a lot of, but they create like real chances, like one on ones. Like it's insane. Even today, I was watching a bit, like setting players through on goal 1-on-1, and they're just terrible. Like all of them, they're terrible, and they miss absolutely sitters. If you watch that Sterling one against Wolves, you would actually cry, to be honest. Um, Friday, usual stuff. Saturday morning preview, post game, all that thing. The 31st of January there will be a video pre-recorded, and the 1st of December and the 1st of January also pre-recorded videos. So stay tuned for that. What if we sold Vlahovic to Chelsea with 60 and Broga player swap? No. He's young and has potential, yeah, but he also has a lot of injuries, which is worrying at that age. I did like him before he came back to Chelsea from... who did Chelsea loan him out to? Was it Bournemouth? It was Bournemouth, right? Um, was it Bournemouth? I think it was Bournemouth. I did like him there, but ever since he came back, injuries kind of held him back. And at that age, it's a bit worrying. I'm not gonna lie. Southampton, it was Southampton. Um, but ever since he came back, he kind of struggles with the injuries. But he looked like a real player. He's not playing at Chelsea. I don't know if he's injured right now. But I don't think Chelsea's gonna do that. I don't think. I think that ship kind of sailed with Vlahovic as well. To be honest, and they were already doubtful in the summer. So maybe things can change if Pochettino gets potentially sacked, because it was Pochettino who didn't really want Vlahovic. However, if we sell Vlahovic, I want cash. I want the club to make their own signings and not being, pushed on players like Pulisic with the leg in the past, all those things. I'm not a fan of those things, of those deals. Give us cash and let us do the signings. He's missing sitters like the others, to be honest. Vlahovic has a bright future. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up. If you haven't liked the video, like the video. Also, the people who I've seen for the first time in the chat, to be honest, or I've missed it. Thanks for joining. I will be back the 2nd of January with a new live show, and probably still talk about that Roma game, depending on how that game goes. Obviously. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you guys live in the new year. Ciao. Calling in next time for sure. That's great. I will do a call and show the 2nd of January. So thanks for that. See you.